Welcome to HellaBass Live. We're only 8 minutes late tonight. We were trying to get I don't know, my cameras would not recognize with StreamYard, and it was grimy, but we're here. So yes, there's a vertical stream, there's a horizontal stream. We're trying out the duplicate streams. So if you want to watch it on your phone like this, you can watch it like that. If you want to watch me on the big widescreen on your tablet or your phone or your TV, you got that going on too. So yeah, if you don't like one or the other, you can back out and find the other one. HellaBass Live, presented by Arsenal Fishing and boosted by Paralysis Lithium. As always, codes down in the description if you want to help out, support the companies that support us. What's up, BBC? And tonight, I kind of want to just run through kind of my tournament season with you guys and kind of recap the good, the bad, the ugly. Was it a good season? Maybe we'll come up with a grade at the end of the year. Like, was it an F? Was it an A? Was it somewhere in between? Guess that's what we'll kind of. There's the BBC. What's going on? I did effort to get some guests, and that didn't really happen. So this is gonna be kind of a free form show. DT, Dustin Taylor, Jim Lopez, Trevor Wagner, Tom Mix. Right on, Tom. Glad you got your baits. You in a yak tournament, Trevor? We got to figure we're here for you, Clay. The Visor Gang is here for you. Sounds like through the technical difficulties, we're good to go. Right on. So more people watched the vertical stream than the horizontal stream last time, but we'll see how it goes this week. So I kind of prepared some visuals here. Let's see how this goes. Like recapping. Sam Axe just got done trimming some flow gliders. He's got him getting some chopping action. I think I saw your comment, Frank. Something about being on time, precisely at 9:30ish. What's up, Yo Jermaine? Got a bunch of OGs hanging out tonight. Who likes spreadsheets? Ooh, that is really small on the old vertical. See if we can blow this up a little bit. There we go. All right. I did not fish a zillion tournaments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tournaments. Nope, there's one more in here. Just kidding. TBF semis. Addison chain. What's up, traveling fisherman? Watching? A couple people on TikTok. Can you guys see that okay? Is it big enough to see? Yeah, you get an option of how to watch on YouTube. You can watch it vertical, foreign format, or you can watch. You're watching the vertical right now, Kyle, but you can switch over and watch the widescreen. Yeah, must be done with horse season. All right, Brian says when you go through them, you can lay out your expectations going into that tourney after practice. Yeah. All right, so first tournament of the year, the St. Jude. We got in about 6 weeks beforehand. The field size was 97 people. Expectations for this tournament was really to raise a pile of money for St. Jude, to be honest, right? Like that was the main thing. Like obviously, once we got into the tournament, Dana and I wanted to have a good event. Yeah, it like Clay says, it's impossible to have a bad finish at the St. Jude. But the first and foremost, we raised $12,000 for St. Jude, which is pretty exciting in 6 weeks. And when I say we, I mean you, Dane, myself, and all you watching know that When you're watching, Frank, the chat streams are probably separate, but I can see both, if that makes sense. I wanted to look up the St. Jude finish here because we did not have that bad a tournament. We had basically a day and a half of practice, two of us in one boat, which we were feeling kind of optimistic. We didn't have a stellar practice, but we got a few clues and saw some things that made us excited. All right, we finished 1/3. $0 win. Yeah, the St. Jude was a lot of fun. Like I said, we raised 12,000. Great event. Big day to come back. Learned a lot. I'm pretty happy with the St. Jude. $12,000 in 6 weeks. First time ever fishing it. I give it like at least a solid B plus. We all came together, raised a lot of money. I mean, I think to win a tournament you got to have an A, but pretty close, about as close to an A as you can get without actually winning the tournament. So I guess my half of the entry fee was only $250. It's a team tournament. Classic bass, so yeah. After our practice, we were optimistic that we could have a good tournament there. But we didn't put a lot of expectations on ourselves. We were pretty stoked to raise the money, and everything else was kind of great. We were kind of there to take on the event. Now this year, we want to raise more money, have a bigger year, do bigger things, but in the end, we hope to be even a little more competitive. But in the end, like it's still about the kids for sure. So classic bass Vermilion, $1,000 entry fee. Did have mostly a full practice. I got up there like a half day Friday. So instead of 3.5 days of practice, I basically had 3 days of practice. Felt pretty decent about that tournament going into practice. Thought if I executed well and made good decisions, I could compete in that event. Definitely thought, you know, should have been in the top 10 based on my practice and my plan. There was a few things inefficiency wise that didn't quite uh, come to fruition there. And I mean, we caught 73 keepers for 161 pounds, which was like a top 10 all time weight, but this was a record setting event. We finished 16th, uh, which was a good finish, and that was $2,000. So after that tournament, we were in the black from an entry fee standpoint, which is always nice. So overall, pretty happy. I kind of thought I should have been in the top 10, but at the top 10, the money really didn't change much until you got up in the top 5, 8. So, uh, I mean, it was the most exciting tournament of the year from a fish catching and pressure and all that kind of stuff. There was a couple things like I wish I would have. I'm fresh. Like the baby tube was a big player, and that in hindsight was a no brainer to be really efficient to catch fish. I did a lot of things right as far as like upsizing my line and my net and gluing on, elastomer type stuff on my net. And the stupid tube was really efficient, but still, I probably should have rigged more stupid tubes. And there was just a couple things I did not quite right in that tournament, but I did a lot of things right to put myself in the top of the field from an efficiency standpoint. So that was a ton of fun. Started the good year points wise. You know, cashed a check in the first event of the year. Yeah. I'm not sure if I'll ever catch 160 1 pounds at a classic bass event ever again. So, uh, there was a lot of people on the wrong side of that. So, so far that was good. TBF, Minnesota, Waconia. I want to say the interview was like 200, 250, something like that with fees. Uh, Noah finished third. Don't. It wasn't a huge field. Kind of look at. Did I should have had more of this prepped, but I finished third with 28.9 pounds. How many boaters were here? Huge field, 14 boaters. Let me look something up here. But that was a 2-day tournament on Lake Waconia. Made for a pretty good video. Had it okay. My practice really wasn't that good. Like for the results for that practice, pretty good to be honest. I wasn't catching a lot of fish, and I wasn't catching very many big fish in practice, to be honest. Um, so from that standpoint, it was a pretty good finish. Had some key bites in that tournament. Trying to figure out what the payout was for this thing. Dun, dun, dun. I think this is it right here. This is great TV here. All right, payout $460. So this also qualified me for the TBF semis, which was good. Might come with some other perks through the discounts, maybe. So there could be some additional benefits there. So, first 3 tournaments of the year, decent finish, just missed a check at the Jude, cash a check, Classic Bass, cash a check at the TOC, qualify for TBS semis. We're rolling along pretty good. So Classic Bass Lacrosse. Yeah, that was it was the first time I really got to flex on the Dobbins 756 in the tournament, which was fun. Got to flip some milfoil. Yeah, there you go. Safe from BBC, Kyle. So yeah, this is by this point we're in third week of June. We haven't fished a ton of tournaments. Things are going pretty well. Classic Bass Lacrosse. Another $1,000 entry fee. Not quite the tournament we were looking for. Had a pretty good practice. Looks like Dane's been working on the Classic Bass website again. It wasn't a good finish. Don't remember exactly what it was. Past events. There we go. Boo, boo, boo. Let's see. We finished 42nd. Not good. Zero money. Saved a few points was basically the nut of that. Like thought it was uh on something better in practice. Didn't really work out. The IRS did. Dustin Taylor finished the season pretty strong. I feel like yeah, momentum was building until we got to lacrosse. Yeah, I do report all of this. So, if the tax man's watching, this will all be part of along with other revenue sources through content creation. This is just kind of the nuts and bolts of entry fee and prizes. Obviously, there's expenses, things like that. So we're back to basically even, slightly under, uh, pretty close to even after 4 tournaments from an entry fee. But yeah, this is all above board. Still in the black. I mean, technically, I think we're $40 in the hole. We could have a right equals. No, we want to go. We're negative $40. All right, Mohamedou. We throw out another $1,000 entry fees. We finished, I believe, 15th here. We skipped a day of practice to go fish the TOC on Wabasha. After lacrosse, we were in the cut for the TOC, but we needed to have a good event. Yeah, it's like 200 or 250 or something like that. I don't remember exactly. I could probably, yeah. It's within 25 or $50. So here we started out fast in that tournament, held on for the check. We got a $2,000 check there, so we're back in black after the classic bass on the Hamadou. Started good, hit a little low, finished the first half and strong. We were in the top 10. We had a really bad start to the second half, fell out of the money, climbed back in, and then kind of held on to that one of those last check spots there. So check made TOC. So the day of practice probably didn't really cost us much. Made good decisions. The stream was good there. Classic Bass was a bummer because we had me and Elon didn't get along. We couldn't verify my Starlink and it didn't work. So we that could have been an epic stream. Made a good video from that. We had some good videos. Classic Bass. Yeah, the stream was decent, but we never caught any fish on stream. But it kept getting interrupted because the GoPro overheated. And then that's probably one of our best streams of the year was Classic Bass Lahamadou too, live stream from a consistent timing, things like that, hanging out through the year. And then TOC Wabasha, I think has like a $40 entry fee. It's like a tournament fee more than an entry fee. Here we finished. I just looked this one up. The field size. So this was a 3-day tournament. Only had one day of official practice. A lot of driving back and forth from Alexandria, huge river. One day of pre-practice. We ended up finishing 19th. The goal here was to finish in the top 5 to make the national championship direct, if not win this tournament. And we did make the day 3 cut. But basically every day got a little worse. and zero money made. There's really not much money. You're really like trying to qualify for the national championship or an automatic qualification spot for the regionals qualifiers. None of that happened. But we're gonna get a win in one of these tournaments one of these days. Didn't stream that one because of, I didn't try to typically stream when I had a co-angler. I didn't feel like it's fair for them to have to try to walk around the Starlink on the back deck as a co-angler. All right, so championship classic bass $0 entry fee, 33 boats. Winner, brand new Skeeter. They paid down 8 or 10 places. And the stream was not that great, and neither was my finish. Definitely statistically the worst finish in a long, long time for me. That is not a good one. $0. Epic fail. That one sucks. What's up, Baxter? Ryan? The locks were interesting. The locks weren't really a factor at nationals that much for me, Ryan, actually. Barges were there, but it was pretty smooth, to be honest. Not compared to some other tournaments I've been into. TBF semis, that's like another $200 or $250 tournament. Field size. I just saw this. Let me this was over on the Madison chain. Only had 1 day of practice for this one because I just got the new Phoenix. And got it rigged Labor Day weekend. So I kind of went out with a plan to basically to fish boat docks to the most part. This year, Big Bass Dude, I qualified for Bass Nationals through my state. The year before, I qualified it through a qualifier. So I've done it both ways. So the field size here was 37, 19th. No money, no special treats. First derby in Phoenix. Didn't catch a limit, 3 fish per day. Had a game plan to try to make this work. Didn't really happen, but I took a shot. It's kind of a low risk, high reward to go out there and fish my strengths, throw a jig on boat docks. Didn't happen. Yeah, Clay, the one where you 3 and a 4 in a row was Lahamadou. That was, I guess, the other thing. In the Classic Bass event, we skipped the graphing day to go pick up the new Phoenix. And I also missed almost a half a day of practice watching my daughter's soccer game, which maybe wasn't the best choice for the tournament, but is not something I regret because it was fun to watch her senior season. Yeah, we don't get those we only have 2 states. I don't know if you have 3 states, Dustin, but it's only Minnesota and Wisconsin. And Minnesota did not have but like 9 or 10 boaters. All right. Bass Nation National Championship in lacrosse. $0 entry fee. I mean, there would have been a $40 entry fee from last year's state tournament, but whatever. 250 boat field. Ryan Watkins are taking away seats from all states in 2027 because they're starting to shrink the field, is my understanding. So they want to go back to like more of like 100, or not back to, but go to more like 150 boat field. So all the states are losing a few spots. And they're changing things up. I think there's gonna be more announcements. 2026 is gonna basically be the same. It's gonna be another 250 boat field. I've heard it's gonna be at Hartwell. That's the rumor. I know they haven't announced it yet. But at 2027, they're gonna, I think, get it down to about 150. So everybody lost a seat here or there over the next couple years to get this down. So we finished. So we started day 1 in like 26th. Day 2, we moved up to 20th. Day 3, fog delay, 4 hours. We fell to 30th. So we went from $1,000 check to $2,000 check, but landed on $1,000 check. good, not great, right? We definitely were shooting for the top 3 to make a Bassmaster Classic, and obviously getting that top 10, top 20 money would have been a lot better, but things I took a risk on day 3 and locked up. Maybe that wasn't the right decision based on the bags that came out of pool 8. So, entry fees alone, $1,670 profit, which is better than I'm guessing a lot of people that fish whatever was that 9 tournaments in a year. My expenses weren't terribly high. Like we camped at the Jude. I had a place to stay at Classic Bass. Slept in my own bed for the TOC at Waconia. Had a place to stay in La Crosse. Had a place to stay at Lahamadou. Um, Wabasha, a few $100 for lodging there. Green, had a place to stay there. Madison Chain, I think I kicked in $100 or something like that to Marty's campground. Had a place to stay at La Crosse. So my lodging expenses were probably like $500 all year. Gas, tackle, I'm sure all that eroded more than the other, $1,000. But like we're even with expenses, I bet you I'm pretty close to like break even on the year, especially if you don't count content creation and that kind of stuff. Uh, so big bass dude, they're gonna bring back. I don't think not this year, but the year after a team element. So there's gonna be a team element. I think a 10-person team at the national championship or at the qualifiers. And so I think the way they're going to do it, my understanding, and obviously you have to wait till they come out, but they're going to have like, the states are going to send their 10-person team, and there's going to be like a mini tournament for each state. The top person in that 10-person team, even if they finish like 30th, is going to go to the national championship. But then also anybody that finishes in the top 20 or whatever at that regional or 15 or whatever the number is. So there's going to be a couple different ways to make it through the qualifier, and there will be a team element. I don't know if there's going to be team prizes and that kind of stuff, but there is going to be a way that each state is going to get one of their people from their top 10 to the national championship, is kind of my understanding. So at the qualifier, there will be a team element to make sure one person from each state team goes to the national championship, is my excited. Yeah, that's my understanding, Dustin. It's gonna be a hybrid of the new way and the old way. So, nah, I think Jim's gonna fish some Bass Nation stuff. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Should we do like a little poll here? Like, let's see here. Let's see how we grade. Start a little poll. See what the fans say. I don't know if this is only gonna show up. I don't know if this shows up on both the wide and the narrow screen, or only on the wide screen. Uh, You can, if you're on one of the ones that doesn't have it, like Facebook or TikTok or wherever, you can just drop it in the chat. How would you grade the season? Basically, I fished 9 tournaments, and entry fee versus prize, $1,670 in the black. Expenses were kind of low. It probably was about a wash. So that's kind of the David says, can you think of your top bait of the year? I haven't done that analysis because typically I will do a video on that. And you should go back and kind of like reskim my videos and kind of do like a statistical analysis. Um, Corbin, I do fish a decent amount of Faribault, Waterville area. I've done some streams there. But so like early in the year, St. Jude and Classic Bass, the Stupid Tube definitely was like a main player. The jig stepped up to the plate at Waconia. Got some chatterbait fish going there. The finesse jig played at the St. Jude. Caught some milfoil flipping fish at Waconia. Classic bass. The stupid tube was my best bait, even though it was a terrible tournament. Lahamadou, the jig played again, both my flipping jig and AJ's finesse jig, and a couple fish and a chatterbait. So that was jig heavy. A couple Senko fish. TOC Wabasha was frog heavy, and also stupid tube. Classic Bass Championship green. I didn't catch enough fish to matter, but mostly a jig there. Almost all fish came on a jig, if not all fish. I think I caught one frogfish at the Madison chain, but that was almost jig. And then the Bass Nation and lacrosse was 5-inch Al Dangerous swim bait, a little lipless crankbait, and a chatterbait, and a wiggle wart. So kind of thinking through that, the stupid tube and the jig were the two biggest players of the year. Yeah. But it was a lot of jig fish and a lot of tube fish early on the tournaments I did well. What did I learn and what do I need to work on? That's a good question. See the results here. So about 58% of the people give me a B, about 17 gave me an A, C, 25. Nobody gave me a failing grade, a D or an F. Uh, so basically 75% of you saying it was like an A to a B season. I think an A is a little, I think you got to pop a win to have an A tournament. Like if I would have popped like one win on a classic bass or something like that, I think, or won the state tournament, I would have given myself an A. But I think a B is a fairly fair grade, and then you could argue is it B minus, whatever. But I've never used the Hush Frog. So Ryan, about the people that you disagree with the guys qualifying that don't support a club, if the club members all have priority to sign up for these tournaments. If the club guys all signed up, the guys that aren't in clubs wouldn't have a spot. So if you don't want that to happen, get all your club members to sign up for the qualifiers, and those guys don't get in. So that's my thought. The devil's advocate on that. What did I learn, Jim? I definitely need to be a little more efficient in practice. Sometimes I get a little too bogged down, too slow in areas. I could do more research on events and be more prepared with a more solid game plan to be efficient. And I've learned that I definitely hate Green Lake. But those are probably the big things. It's becoming more efficient in practice would go a long ways. What would I do differently if I could replay the year? St. Jude, there's a couple small micro decisions about how we fished day 2 and some spawning fish we came in on late that day. Hindsight, we could have shuffled through things faster and maybe had a crack at a couple more fish. Classic Bass Vermilion, there's a couple, and I have like a whole deep dive on the Classic Bass tournament recap about. So I wish I would have got on the mini tube. Could have been more efficient. I wish I would have rigged more stupid tubes to have been more prepared. I wish I would have known that the density of fish that some guys got on existed, so I know to keep looking for it. At Vermilion. And then there's a couple things where I like fished too long for some fish that didn't want to bite, and then I got hung up on a boat lift and wasted too much time on a fish that got hung up. Minnesota TOC, there was evidently a shallow chatterbait bite that I missed on Waconia, which bugs me, but I don't know. I feel like I did pretty well with what I had. Lacrosse, I don't know. My practice was terrible. Like, yeah, the practice, and I guess I wouldn't have. I wish I wouldn't have ignored what I thought was the obvious main channel stuff because that's where a lot of people cash checks, and that's where I ended up catching some fish. But I tried to outsmart myself, be too sneaky. Thought I had to do something really off the wall. Lahamadu, I'm pretty happy with that one. With skipping a day of practice. I wish I would have respooled the line of my jig rod before halftime. And I wish I would have made a bait color adjustment earlier in the second half on those chatterate fish. Bass Nation, again, practice could have been more efficient. I don't know. I just didn't have enough time to really dial that one in. It's hard to get around the river efficiently and just try stuff. I wish I would have thrown the Flappy Frog more on day 3. Classic Bass, again, redo the practice. That just fell apart from the start. Not much of a regret for TBF semis, Madison chain. I kind of went with a preconceived notion, fish my strength. It didn't work out. It was a calculated risk. Bass Nation lacrosse. I had the dredge hole that Nick Trim won the tournament on my list of places to fish in practice and to check, knowing that could have been a thing. And I waited till the last like 2 hours to look at it, and it wasn't enough time. But when I saw the amount of life that was there, I knew I should have spent more time there. And then day 2, my pool late practice was not efficient. Did not cover enough water. But so a lot of it comes down to like redoing practice, not necessarily a lot during the tournament. Uh, so classic bass, you knew your updates all the time. Your marshals tell you that. You can't look at the Bass Track and Bassmaster events. But I don't mind. It's good to know where you sit. You can channel that correctly. I think a B-ish, B minus. I'm kind of hard on myself, Dustin. If I would have won the last tournament, would you have taken the elite event? Only if I could have worked something out with my employer where I did not have to basically quit my job. If I could have took some kind of furlough or some kind of like unpaid time off and done a balance, I would have done it. But if I had to quit my job, I don't know if I would have done it. Penalties weren't too bad except for lacrosse. That was an absolute train wreck on penalties. The rest of the year was pretty good. The wet dog smell. Which turn are you talking about? Elites? The what I'm fishing? Bass? Like what? Lower entry fee and lower penalty, increased participation still provided. I guess depends on what format or what circuit you're talking about. Oh. But yeah, there's my kind of analysis. Maybe do a standalone video on this. But any other questions on tournaments? Let's spool up some more questions and let's take a quick 1 minute break and come back.
Are you ready to reel in your next home purchase or refinance? Supreme Lending's Dream Team can help the entire mortgage process from pre-qualification to closing. We have a wide variety of home loan programs in our tackle box, including down payment assistance and first-time homebuyer options. You can ask HellaBass. He trusted us to help finance his home. Contact the Dream Team today by searching Supreme Lending Dream Team or click the link below in the description or scan the QR code on your screen.
And the TikToks. So I did drop, thanks to the Dream Team, shout out to them for supporting the stream. If you're in the market to refi, get yourself a new home, build yourself a new garage, give my boy Aaron Digas a call for supporting the show. Give him a shot. Also, I put a link in the chat if anybody wants to join. Kind of do, we can do that. So, open invite to anybody that wants to come in, ask a question, or join the show. All tournaments seem kind of risky to me, but I'm pretty conservative. Yeah, like bass fishing tournaments, don't get me wrong, they're basically high stakes gambling or low stakes, depending on the level, but it is basically gambling. Yeah, I mean the no entry fee does make it a lot harder to turn down and give it a shot. But if you got no place to return to when you come back and you can't pay your mortgage, I wouldn't put my family at risk to do it, I guess is what I would say. If I could gather the support, then I would do it. But we got to make sure that the nuts covered at home. This year I did not fish any weeknight turbies, derbies, JJ. Sometimes I would sub for Sobe on his Tuesday night, but he usually would call me when he'd have to miss it for classic bass, and I was fishing classic bass this year. So with the classic bass events being on Tuesday, that took out the Tuesday weeknight unless you had like a sub rotation set up. Getting more hours, do you think more hours, Brian asked, do you think more hours in FFS will help you next year or fish to strength? I mean, honestly, if forward facing sonar went away, it'd be better for me. I'm still trying to get better at it and make sure I learn it. But, in the tournaments, like St. Jude, zero fish caught on scope. I mean, there might have been fish that I made a better cast to a structural element and made a more efficient cast, but as far as seeing the fish, St. Jude, zero fish. Classic bass for a million. Probably 4 or 5 fish in the second half that I caught in perspective mode. Uh, so that it played a little bit there. Wilconia, zero fish on scope. Lacrosse, zero fish on scope. Lahamadou, think one the morning fish, I could see the group on scope, but I wasn't necessarily casting like two individual fish, but I could see the fish set up on the ledge and making that cast. So there was maybe 5, 6 fish, 6, 7 maybe at Lahamadou that were scope out of the like 30 some that I caught. Wabasha, zero scope fish. Classic bass, one scope fish. Probably need a lot more there. No scope fish on the Madison chain, and no fish in the national championship on scope. Just about all of those, there was some practice fish on scope, but in the tournament, not really. But getting better at it's you getting better at scope is helpful, but it's also like when it's crunch time, somebody that has like as much history on other things, I feel like under pressure, I like in practice, I find it easier to catch fish on scope. When it's tournament time, I feel like I fall back into my old ways more comfortably when the pressure's on. There you go. Become a country singer. Sign up for there's a qualifier in Texas next year, Clay. You can fish a Bass Nation qualifier in Texas. $400. It's all it really takes to give yourself a carrot, a chip and a chair and a chance is $400 and fish one qualifier a year. Or fish your state 2000 Texas. What's up, AJ? We were just talking about how many fish I caught on stupid tubes and finesse jigs and wiggle warts this year from horseshoe tackle. And I did put out in the chat if anybody uh, wants to join and ask a question on the hotline. So otherwise, I'll just keep firing through questions here. Michael Bradley out of the entire season, if you get one do-over, which would you choose? I guess the obvious thing here, if I could do a do-over, it would be the national championship, and because that one was one of the biggest upside, right? Uh, and I was like skill set, knowledge, my finish, right? Like I finished 20 or 30th out of 250 guys. So like I was, and then like, I could have won a boat at the classic bass, but I was 31st out of 33rd. I was like not in it. So yeah, I would definitely want to redo the national championship to get a shot at the classic. When are you gonna? Oh, are you gonna fish the qualifier in May, Dustin? You can always fish 9. A lot of guys did well in 9 in that May tournament. I'm gonna plan to be there. So Dustin, maybe we'll finally see each other in person. It's a love hate, Clay. Secretly, you love him. Just the color that I caught the most derby fish is a custom painted Nebraska craw that AJ does. So it's an OG wart. I don't have one handy, but I should be able to pull it up. You got some Nebraska craws in a different crank, don't you, on the website, AJ? Medium diving. Nope. DT6. I bet you have them in a rock crawler. There we go. All right. That color right there painted on an OG wart. Jess. Did you catch any walleyes last night? Yeah, there you go. Well, look forward to seeing you there. And if you need any like navigation tips, any high level stuff, Dustin, I'd be glad to help you out a little bit. Absolutely. AJ does great stuff. Yeah. Clay definitely has them. Like he's figured out a way to start Ben, and I don't know. We'll see who retires and who doesn't. You may not have to see him on the elites, Clay. And how do you know about these? If you don't watch these videos, they don't show up in your algorithm. So that means you're watching, Clay. That's not quite the feed bag that you were thinking. I did not do as well bass fishing yesterday afternoon as I had hoped. Yeah, Clay's probably the one doing the modified flow guides for Ben, I bet. Let's keep. There's been some good questions. Let's keep them rolling. Um, I am wearing the HellaBass hoodie tonight, which is available down below. There should be links if anybody wants to get themselves a Christmas present. The HellaBass merch is up, and I think the people that have gotten them uh, would agree they're really nice, cozy, comfy sweatshirts. Everybody go on Instagram and send your favorite Ben Milliken videos via DM. Tube heads are all in stock. Best stupid tube heads in the game. I gave one to my co-angler and he caught one of his keepers on day 3. Hello, are you going to get the S word Friday, Saturday? I don't know if I know what the S word is. Am I missing some? I don't know. Is there something going on? You're gonna have to give me a little more. I might be dense today, Dustin. Favorite tube brand. I use a lot of the X-Zone tubes on the stupid tube, and also the coffee tubes are the ones that I would say readily available. Oh, the snow. I don't know. I haven't looked that far ahead. Kind of. There's one. Aaron, Dream Team guy. We had talked about going up to Mille Lacs, but we'll see. He's in Florida all week. We'll see if it comes together. Uh, the Phoenix has been good. I feel like getting so late in the year, just kind of figuring it out. Like I finally figured out how to get it to run like 70. Had my jack plate way too low with the bobs and the Yamaha, so I still don't think I have the right prop, but it'll be a next year problem. But yeah, it's been good. I feel like it holds a lot of stuff. Um, oh, Michael sending AJ some flat A's to get painted. Ah, the Yamaha's been good. No problems. Doesn't sound as cool as the Merc, but getting to weigh in is cool. Although the Merc never left me stranded in a tournament. Just the one time in practice that one year on the river where I had to use my powerhouse lithiums to go 6 miles on the river before it got dark. I feel like the Yamaha's got a lot of like whole shot mid-range torque. All right, we've got somebody on the HellaBass hotline.
What?
JJ,
What's going on?
is this Jim?
Yeah. What's it
Right
say?
on. That's
JJ.
JJ.
It's probably the
That's
AI.
supposed to be JIM, not that's an autocorrect.
Yeah, that's an
This is the one
auto.
and only Jim G. Lopez.
Yeah.
What's going on? Sitting in the boat?
Yeah, sitting in the boat, airing out the joint.
Did you get wet fishing this weekend or what?
Last weekend it took on some water. It was a little windy out over here in the Colorado region.
Right on.
Yeah, so no, just put the fans up and everything and air it out pretty much.
There you go. So, being in Colorado, how far you are from the promised land in Idaho where the giant smallmouth live?
Oh, that's pretty far, probably about 15, 16 hours.
That's not
Yeah.
close.
No, it's not close, but Colorado's got some pretty good bass fishing. We go to pretty much like the same lakes like everybody else does, but like the Bass Nation stuff, you have to travel. You like I think Possum Kingdom was 12 hours, I think it was.
That's in Texas or is that in Colorado?
That's Texas, Possum
Yeah.
Kingdom. Yeah, and then the Oklahoma one on Arkansas River, that was 16 hours.
I mean, I'm only 21 hours. I'm almost as close as you are.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
I guess
So
you're more south. Colorado's more south than I realized.
uh Colorado's west. I don't know.
Yes,
You
that's
know,
one thing. Like, I feel like I talked to Adam Deacon, used to be in Colorado,
yeah,
and it's like there's not a lot of tournaments in Colorado for Colorado.
yeah, no, not really. We the best lakes are out of state, like Kansas, you have an Ogallala, you have McConaughey, you have that, and then there is Cedar Bluff in Kansas. That's a great lake. And then you know, we go south of Colorado to New Mexico. Those are some good lakes. and then we try to keep it as close as possible. 6 hours. We try to keep
Pretty
it
much every time you fish a tournament, it's like 6 to 8 hours away.
six to four, and then if we go anywhere like for Bass Nation, it's about 14 hours. So yeah, but I think next year for the state team qualifier, that's going to Ten Killer, and that's a good lake. You ever been there?
No,
Yeah, Ten
just
Killer.
Grand.
Oh, just Grand. I've never been to Grand, but
So, and you're not close enough to have any of the. You don't do any of the one bass stuff where you are either.
oh no, that's too far for me.
Okay.
Um, you have to travel over the mountain, or you can just take the straight route south. But I hear it's better to go over the mountain and then south, from what
Because
people have
most of
been
those,
telling.
Nevada, Arizona, California.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, with the Bass Nation stuff, I seen it on Toledo Bend.
Yep.
So, so we're me and a couple guys are, you know, planning on doing that.
Yeah, it's a great event. Like they run a really good tournament. So even, win, lose or draw, I think experiencing one of those like 200, 150, 200 boat tournaments well run, it's like you basically get to experience a Bassmaster Open uh type feel event and kind of see what it's all about. So,
Yeah, when we did the Oklahoma one in Arkansas River, that was I think it was like 210 boats,
yep.
something like that, and it was
So you
like,
fished the one that Chris Johnson won.
yep, yeah, he was
Okay.
there. And then what happened with that with me was, you know, you kind of get into this, you know, do this, do that kind of thing, and you listen to the doc talk. And
Hmm.
I was like, because I had my whole plan was to go north. Well, what happened was that on that tournament, they had those, I don't know, like hurricane winds or something, and they were working on the bridge, and some iron or something fell off the bridge into the water. So they had to shut that whole north end down. So we didn't get to practice there. But that was my whole game plan since like 6 months prior to the tournament. And then we didn't get to practice there. So I had no clue. I'd never been there, to see that only on Google Earth and Omnio website. And then we fished south. And when I got south, I did find some good quality fish. But, I kind of threw that out the window, and everybody was saying, you haven't been up north up by that bridge area. And I was thinking, man, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't. Well, guess what? It got one up there.
AJ says, how good is Lake McConaughey?
Lake McConaughey is very good. Um, some of the bags that are coming out of our club event, they got something like 20 pounds in one day for 5 fish.
Solid.
Yeah, so they're very good. I got some pictures on the social media stuff. But yeah, you right now the water is low, and then but the fish are still biting. You can find them offshore. You can find them on the long rock points. There's not much grass,
Hmm.
but if you figure out the out west kind of finesse deal, if you figure that out, you can go to McConaughey and you can catch them.
Right on.
Hmm.
Cool. Well, how'd your tournament season go? High level.
Well, I didn't get a chance to fish the Bass Nation this year, but I fished a lot of local events and some out of town. And I did a lot better because this is my 5th year fishing here in Colorado. Because the finesse game is
Hmm.
very much different than the Midwest. Because I'm originally from Illinois, Wisconsin area.
Sure.
So all we fished over there was like 10, 15, 20, 65 pound line. Here,
Yes.
you got to fish 6 pound,
Hmm.
6 pound line. I'd never even had 6 pound line before. So it was very different for me. I never threw a drop shot, but I
Right.
had to now. I never threw a Ned rig, but I had to. Had to figure it out. So once I
Had to
started figuring,
invest in extra spinning gear.
oh yeah, you got to have more spinning gear. But once you figure that out, then you can go to different lakes and break that down. And then once you're from the Midwest area, and then when you come across like grass and like weeds, arrowheads, and stuff like that, then now that stuff, it like brings that light bulb on, and you're like, oh yeah, I like seeing this, and this is what I'm looking for. That more stained, dirty water that we see in the Midwest, Wisconsin area. Some Wisconsin lakes are clear, very clear. So that helped.
Very cool.
Hmm. But I thought I was in contention to win a couple of times, which I'm pretty happy about.
There you go.
Yeah, but
Yeah, as long as
yeah,
you're enjoying yourself and learning, I guess it can't be all bad.
nah. As long as you're learning, you're taking something away. You know, it was just like the Arkansas River. I zeroed on
Mm.
the first day, and I zeroed on the second day, and but I still learned something, from that. Even though it was a river system, and I'm used to fishing river systems, that water was just dropping so fast, like overnight. And, to adjust to that. And then once you figure something out at the end of the tournament, you're like, I should have known better.
Sometimes you learn the most from the bad events.
Oh yeah, I do. I kept telling myself that, what am I taking away from this, from this event? And then you do learn, and it does humble you for sure. And you just try to take something away, just one thing, and then you'll continue to learn from there. Because if you just stay hard headed and you're not open minded, that's gonna really set you back.
Justin wants to know, is Orange Flake a big deal where you are? He says he's got a buddy in Arizona and he says Orange Flake's a big deal there.
Orange Lake in Colorado? Hmm. I don't think I've heard of an Orange Lake. I've only been here like 5 years here.
Orange flake like in plastics, like a orange metal flake in a green pumpkin.
Oh, yeah. That's a good color, something to have in it. And the reason why is because a lot of the carp here are like a golden orange type carp, and their fingerlings, the small ones, you can see those, and they're like an orange color. Orange works good really everywhere too. I have quite a few from the Midwest, and I use orange topwater and orange rattle trap, and do pretty good with that. But that's kind of why, because a lot of the carp out here, they're orange color when they're
All right, so
small.
you out there, are you working on your minnow game? Is that a big player out there shaking minnows?
Well, I hang them in all because I still have 2D. I don't use the live scope,
Hmm.
so I can go with my side scan on the Lowrance on the side scan. And once I see them in certain areas, you watch for shadows in the side scan to see how high they are. So I've done it with throwing a 3/8 ounce 8-inch worm that I'll side scan a point, and I'll see them out there, and I'll throw out there, count it down, and I'll roll that 8-inch worm back to the boat and catch those fish like that, those largemouth, largemouth or smallmouth. And then once I get on top of them, if they're on like boulders or any structure like that, I'll use like the new X Zone, the new X Zone minnow rally shad. That's what it is.
Sure.
So I'll hang that down on the moon eye jig with a VMC moon eye jig, and then hang that down, and then that'll usually get them.
All right. Well, speaking of largemouth, we have somebody else on the hotline. Jim, if you want to hang out, you can. If you want to drop
What's
off,
happening?
you.
That was one of the best. Can you hear me? Is my mic on?
Yeah.
That was a very, very professional segue.
Thank you.
It's a largemouth.
What's your Elm Creek?
It's a tap room over by Champlain.
You think Bass Pro is going to go after them for infringement of their logo?
I think Bass Pro's got bigger fish to fry, but maybe. What are you talking about? They totally licensed this. I'm sure it's completely above board.
All legit.
How's it going? Yeah, totally legit.
So how's the northern Wisconsin smallmouth bite?
Well, it's interesting because the water temps are warm, like really warm. Like last weekend, they're just starting to get into the 40s. Like I'm seeing, like with lake I was on, it was like 46 to 48. So it's fall above the water, but it's not really like fully kicked in under the water. So we were on a Mille Lacs yesterday, and it was like 50. So like we're early November and we're still in October temperatures in the water.
Does Mille Lacs still have good grass?
What's that?
Does Mille Lacs still have good grass?
I don't know. I never look for. I
A
mean,
little up by Garrison and Yurmar, there's some grass.
the lake in Wisconsin, there's 100% still grass. Like it's not dying off to where it should be. There's a couple lakes I go to, and this time of year, the grass is usually died off and it exposes like gravel and rock that's underneath, and it like attracts fish. And I went out there and there was still grass on it. I was like, oh, we're not even to the point where like the grass has died off, like in Northwest Wisconsin.
Sunday night,
Wow.
after the Vikings took care of business against the Lions, just throw that out there. That I went out to a local lake here in Lakeville, and there was tons of milfoil and grass everywhere. Still, you're lagging. Is Little Punch just like streaming Roblox and taking all your Wi-Fi, or what? You muted yourself.
Yeah, no, I'm not lagging. Am I?
You were.
Oh, still now? I gotta close. Dude, I'm using my work laptop and I got about 7,000 things open. Let me clear off some apps.
Seems better now.
Okay.
You were.
Sorry about
Speaking
that.
of lagging, Monday I'll be getting fiber internet here, so hopefully my uploads will be better, and we'll be able to stream even better going forward.
Yeah, fiber. That's the biggest advantage of like going to fiber is you get a massive upload. Like, yeah, you'll be able to upload considerably better with fiber.
Yeah, it's like it won't take me like 4 hours to upload a tournament video anymore.
Yeah, it is shocking how long sometimes uploading a big video takes, like on a not super fast internet. The grass is still heavy. Yeah, it's. I don't. Is this just the way things are going to be now? Because I remember last year it was kind of like this too. I'm wondering if this is like the new normal of like we have a late fall, like late as in like we don't really get like traditional fall till like end of November, even into December. Yeah,
because didn't was that lacrosse? It didn't freeze very well.
I thought that was last year or the year before. I think that was 2 years ago where they basically had almost no ice.
Can you not see that right there? Am I getting weird? Do you see my whole or just my like this?
Depends on what stream they're watching.
Oh, you're
So
streaming.
we're streaming on multiple formats on YouTube, vertical and
okay.
wide.
Okay. Well, to that commenter, if they watch the widescreen version, they'll see my background. So I'll tell you, the Mille Lacs though, the bite was good. Like we went to Banana Reef. I don't know, for the Mille Lacs nerds out there, they know where that is. We went to Banana, and there were fish everywhere, and they were like, not all of them were bitey. A lot of them were just kind of roaming around, but like the ones that were bitey, we were every fish was over 3 pounds. Like we caught a lot of 3-pounders, handful of 4s, 1.5. And we weren't out there like a whole day. We just kind of went out afternoon to sunset.
Were you finessing, dragging jigs, minnows? What was your?
So my go-to is just fan casting a 3-inch spark shad with a 1/4 ounce, letting it get down the bottom, and then just kind of dragging it, not even like really, just kind of letting it slide across the rocks. Got a few doing that. Absolutely scoped a few on Sakamata, which that was the bigger fish came off that. Shocking, right? Like all the smaller fish.
6-inch.
5, always a 5. No, they didn't have no problem biting a 5. Like through the 5 in front of their face, they would come up and get it. And we caught Ned rig. Just like I saw some rock piles. I was like, there's some fish swimming around these rock piles. Just fired the Ned rig in there, let it sit on the bottom, and don't do too much to it. And got a couple of doing that too. So just got to bring a spinning pole out there right now. I was throwing a 1/2 inch. I'm sorry, a 1/4. I can't talk. I was throwing a 1/4 inch jig head, or a 1/4 ounce jig head with the spark shad on a 7'4" medium, so I can make a really long cast. Because you want to fling it out there and just cover a lot of water.
How's that go again? I want to make sure you get the.
You gotta use the sound effects. It's more fun.
Ryan K wants to know if you're still using your ecstasy.
Oh, no, I sold that. Yeah, I sold that in the spring. That's a good rock.
Right.
Uh-oh. You got a phone call?
Actually, I removed him as a joke, and then he disappeared because of lagging.
Hold it.
Yeah, but then you actually lagged out and went black also. So
there you go.
Maybe my router needs to get bounced or something, but I don't know. Have you been out fall smallie fishing? Not much, huh?
Not smallie fishing, no. Not since the river a little bit, but it still wasn't fall down there yet either. But yeah, hopefully maybe that'll be my next. I tried to do a last hurrah largie fishing yesterday, and it was uninspiring. Caught one nice fish on a glide bait. Water temps were 49 to 50. Caught some fish, but just not what I was hoping. Yeah,
this time of year, I never have amazing largemouth days. I just pretty much stick to, what's really great fishing right now? Walleye. Walleyes are snapping. I've had the couple sessions I was out, even on Mille Lacs, we caught some big walleyes, but I've had a lot of fun walleye fishing right now. They're
Are you using live bait or just artificials?
Artificials. They eat the same stuff smallmouth.
Yeah.
You can net them. Net actually is really good for walleye in the fall. I don't know why. Just a freaking little tickler, throw it into a walleye school, they'll bite it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's been mostly strolling, Ned. There's a fall bait for me this time of year is a dark sleeper, like the Megabass dark sleeper. Smallmouth go crazy for that thing this time of year, especially up shallow.
Mm. We've been catching a lot of largemouth. It's been a good largemouth fall out here in Colorado. A lot of these lakes, they change so much from winter drawdown because of the runoff from the mountains. They draw them down so low, but it just seems like the largemouth are, being more active with this, the stuff that they're doing. I don't know why.
When does so in Colorado, do the lakes freeze up significantly? Or I guess it depends where in Colorado, right? Colorado.
Yeah, where I'm at, I'm more closer to Denver, and these lakes will freeze, but I can drive 2 hours south,
right?
And those lakes will freeze a little bit, but by noon they'll thaw out. So I fish until at least December, middle December, just before Christmas, and then they'll freeze, and then we can't get back on until the ice thaws in I think it was like March 6th. I got back on the water.
March 6th.
Well, plus like the higher the elevation, the more the lakes freeze, I think, right?
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
was, yeah. So you can drive south, get to lower elevation, and actually find open water like in the middle of winter. If
yeah,
you were so inclined.
exactly.
That's cool.
Mhm.
The only place we can find open water up here is rivers, where there's
Yeah, running water.
well, yeah, where there's power plants, because the power plants pull the water in and they shoot out the warm water, and then it never freezes. And that's like basically the only open water around the metro area.
Yeah, in Illinois, we had to go to Braidwood when I was in Illinois. That's a power plant lake. That was usually a pretty good lake.
Let's see. Can you talk about how you work a dark sleeper? I have no luck with them. I mean, dark sleep, you just fish it like a jig. Same thing. Just throw it out, let it hit on the bottom. Yeah, fish it like a football. Yeah, fish it like a football jig. Like throw it out.
And there are times you can slow roll it like a swim bait,
I never do.
but this time of year, definitely more of a football jig style, I think.
Yeah, I fished a couple lakes where smallmouth in the fall pull up onto the banks because like these banks have a lot of grass, and like when it starts to die, the smallies go up into the. I think there might be crayfish up shallow. I don't know. They feed on something up there, and they start getting up shallow, and they love hanging around any docks that are still in, and they love hanging around any hard cover, so wood, any shallow rock, any docks. The smallies will hang out there for a little period before they go deeper to winter. And that's where the dark sleeper, you can just like skip dark sleepers around docks, any hard cover, because dark sleeper goes through stuff pretty well. It doesn't get hung up very much. But yeah, you just let it sit on the bottom, and I throw it out and I kind of drag it, like you said, Rich, like a football jig. I kind of drag it, hop it, fish it slow. Everything you got to do in the fall is slow, in my opinion. Like you can't fish too slow in the fall for like bottom contact stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion. Like fishing Ned rig, you don't got even got to shake it, just let it sit on the bottom.
So how late do you keep your camper, and like how of water do you typically fish in the fall?
So my camper, I close it. So the campground closes. Well, the campground closes because they turn the water off and they blow out all the lines. So we don't have any water, and that kind of officially ends camper season. However, I'm a psycho, and I still go to my camper when I don't have running water. And I could keep that going as long as I want because I got propane, heat, electricity is still hooked up, so I can run like a space heater or the electric fireplace. So, hey, point is, I can hang out in the camper as late into the season as I want, and I bring my boat with. So,
Yeah, so how typically do you fish till like into the 30s, or when do you kind of stop going?
I stop when the snow starts flying. When there's snow in the forecast, it's pretty much when I'll stop. I mean, there's a point where you get into like the high 30s where it's really miserable. They don't bite very well. They go deep, and then it's like, is it fun anymore? And there's a certain point where it literally stops being fun. You're like, okay, this is like work and not fun.
Somewhere between 38 to 42 is kind of like where things tend to get a little tough.
I agree. Once the water temperature has a 3 in it, it like you're working for a bite.
Yeah,
there's exceptions, but as a general rule, that's
yeah. You're just gonna crawl something on the bottom real slow at that point, swim bait or something.
When they start moving out to their wintering spots, then they're in groups, but they don't typically eat. You can see them and you can like throw stuff at them, but they just are like they don't react really.
Yeah, Chris, don't really follow the walleye scene, but do understand there is a lot of like big regional one-off walleye tournaments like the Graha and the Governor's Cups and Dakotas and things like that. So
and those tournaments have stupid prizes sometimes, like a boat and like you know what I mean. Like the payouts in those things are like usually pretty impressive. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a jackpot tournament. Like it's a real deal. Like people take it really seriously.
Talking about like snow in the forecasts.
They were to get accumulation, but I don't think we'll see it here. Maybe up probably in northern Minnesota. I bet you they will, but I don't know. Had a really great. I mean, Mille Lacs.
There's a little bit of a wintry mix on Saturday.
Yeah, wintry mix. Nobody in the South ever hears that term. I bet. Like that's such a common weather vernacular.
Well, the temperature forecasts have definitely shifted a bit for this weekend from when I originally looked.
Yeah. If we get, so JJ, we get, you guys in Colorado, like it could be rain or snow. You don't know. It could be both. It could start off as one and switch to the other.
Yeah, the thing is with Colorado, and they could say it's going to be 10 miles an hour wind. You can add at least 15 to 20 to that every time, because then now you're in like 3 footers, and it's like, where did all this come from? Because it happens so fast. And even the fog, you can have pitch clear, ready to go, 6 o'clock, safe light. Next thing you know, you got this big fog machine just coming in, shutting you down, and then we're shut down for like 2 hours.
Yep. Yeah. No, you guys have way more dramatic swings.
AJ says that actually when it gets closer to freezing, they're easier to catch. 39 is water most dense, and it puts pressure on them, and they don't want to move.
Is that true? That sounds really smart and true, but I have no idea if that's accurate or not.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was just looking. My buddy, like when we looked at the forecast, we talked about this week going to Mille Lacs, and I feel like based on the extended forecast I'm looking at, it'd be better to wait till the next weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's not good just to go out, just to be safe.
We're talking about where I'm at. Lows in the low 20s, highs in the mid 30s.
Mille Lacs
is there. Subtract probably 5 on all of those.
It's going to be miserable this weekend. I think the only people that are going to be out on Mille Lacs are going to be the hardcore muskie dudes that are just going to troll around.
And Saturday, not as windy. Sunday, it's going to blow like 15 to 20, which
your best bet, Rich, is to just keep an eye on the forecast next week and the next week, and whatever sunny, warmish day that has low wind, just send it. Like whatever day of the week it is, just you got to go. I honestly think Mille Lacs, I mean, I'm not a Mille Lacs expert, but I was literally there yesterday. I think that there's still a good 3 weeks of good bite window left up there. Like it's not even really deep into the 40s yet. Like that lake's people are going to be cracking them on that lake for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, you get some sunshine out there sometime.
When you're out if the sun's out, it's not that miserable. Like the sun warms you up a little bit and it makes it a little.
When it's cloudy and it's windy and it's spitting. Oh,
when that wind is just smacking you all day and your core is cold, like it's in your bones.
Gravy wants to know, what do you think is the best scenario for hair jigs? And I think he's talking about the marabous.
So I throw hair, but I'm a spring hair guy. Like right when ice is out, I have a hair jig tied on, and I usually have it on the deck if I'm out. If it's a smallmouth lake, I'm throwing it. I don't think I've ever caught a largemouth on a hair jig in my life. But I mean, like
only when small.
We're not talking like the mullets and the.
No, yeah, but I mean, I've accidentally caught largemouth fishing smallmouth with hair jigs.
But it's a spring lure for me, especially right after ice. Right after ice, for some reason, hair is amazing, and smallies will come up out of really deep water to eat it. It's crazy. Like I'll go to like a reef, and I'll be sitting kind of on the reef and throwing out into the deep, and that's where I'll get bit because I don't know what's going on. They just see it and they just go. Whoosh. I don't know how they pick up such a little tiny hair jig in deep water.
Immediate post spawn through early summer when there's a mayfly hatch is kind of like the best time. Yeah,
the mayfly hatches are weird because they just hatch whenever the hell they feel like it. Like you can't time it. It's just like, oh, today's a mayfly hatch. Cool. Like that's great. Josh Douglas says you throw hair till 4th of July. That's his rule. And I kind of go by the same thing. Like once 4th of July, once July kind of hits, the hair, they stop chasing the hair around as heavy as they do in the early spring.
Have you played around with the Outcast Ned bug hair?
I have one and it's really nice. Like it's well built. But I haven't tied it on. I keep forgetting I have it. It's just like a buck, was it the deer hair or a buck? What is it called? Like, what I'm talking about.
Bucktail jig.
Yeah, bucktail jig. Mm-hmm. It's nicely made. Like it's a kind of expensive, but it looks like it's got some effort put into its construction.
I got a couple of the marabous, and then those work pretty good. I can actually boat flip a couple smallmouth with that marabou hair jig.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good jig.
Yeah. I mean, a hair jig bite is fun. It's just the hard part is like dialing in a good combo to throw hair effectively because it's so light and you got to have the right line, a really long whippy rod to really fish it like effectively. Because the problem is in Wisconsin, Rich, like the lakes are super clear and like you got to get that hair out away from the boat. And throwing a little teeny hair jig is like an art. Like,
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to have a good rod, and then I use a 7.6
yeah, I use
Douglas rod.
6 too.
It works. Yeah, that works really good. You know, with the 6 pound mono suffix, and then I think it's 8 pound suffix braided line, and that works really good. You can throw that thing pretty far.
I have learned, and this is a pro tip, is that using a 4 carrier braid to throw light hair is a little better than like an 8 carrier. You want a little stiffer of a line instead of that like limp eight carrier braid.
Yeah.
Using a regular Power Pro or a regular 832, you can get more distance throwing small hair jigs with that 4 carrier. Which people think, you got to have the bougie 8 carrier expensive stuff, but that actually I think limits. I think that stiffer line goes a little further.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you got to have a good reel, on it
Big
as
reel.
well. Yeah, really nice.
I use a 4,000 now on my little hair jig setup. I use a 4,000 size reel with a 7.6 whippy ass rod.
Wow, that's a big one. Well, you got bigger fish out there.
Well, I just want the big spool to like just I think the big spool lets you throw more line. Because my whole thing with hair is I want the longest possible cast I can make. Like,
yeah. You put a little chunk on that too.
Oh yeah, always a little chunk of Senko or stickworm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always bite off a little piece.
I feel like
this question, I have not perfected throwing hair jig deep, and I don't have the patience for it to drop that far in that deep of water. Like you throw it out and you're waiting for it to get down there.
And a lot like Mille Lacs and the lakes, I feel like we're fishing that. Like I said, there's other times of year to catch them, but spawn to 4th of July, that's more 5 to 15 foot type stuff. So that's where a lot of guys are throwing that.
Yeah, the hair is really good shallow or like around reefs, around drop-offs, like where fish are coming from the wintering and starting to start scoping around spawning areas. Like those are the kind of zones you want to chuck a hair jig around.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, the hair jig bite is kind of boring. Like you just kind of throw it out, you let it sit there, you just reel it in real slow. Like it's not the most exciting.
You barely feel the bite.
Yeah, it just loads up and then it's kind of
like I'm either in weeds or I caught a stick or it's a bass. I'll find out here in a second.
That's one thing nobody talks about is fishing hair jigs is mad boring. Like it is not a fun way to fish.
So I got the bigger hair jig from Outcast.
The chicken.
That's a 3/4 ounce, and I throw those on deep rock piles.
That's rich.
That is a fun bite because they eat it like a chicken bite.
Yeah, that's the chicken rig.
Oh, Brian asks, are we doing the Christmas thing? Yeah, we got to do the mystery unboxing. It's a tradition. So yes, we will do that.
It's usually more
Black Friday-ish. Yeah.
Black Friday-ish. But sometimes it's usually between the two, right? We do it around Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving adjacent. Yeah, it's usually a little closer to Thanksgiving, but sometimes right after.
But yeah, we're gonna do it. It's fun. Dude, if I'm fishing smallmouth in 30 foot of water, I'm using a drop shot. That's when the drop shot's coming out.
Yeah, how long do you like your leader when you go that deep?
I make my leader basically the same all the time. I rarely change my leader length. I go probably about 12-ish inches.
Yeah, that's what I do. If I'm casting far, then I'll bring it up higher because then the drop shot is like this when you're bringing it to the boat, and then I'll make the longer leader.
Yeah.
But if I'm just pretty close, it's usually about 12 inches. Most of the time it's 12.
Well, wait, you mean the full leader or the length from the hook to the weight?
From the weight to the hook, if I make these bomber casts, then I'll make the longer leader, at least maybe 24 inches, because then now you're closer to the bottom of the water, the structure.
Doing the Prager. Why can't I say that? Pythagorean theorem.
Pythagorean. That's a hard word. Pythagorean
He's
theorem.
using his drop shot leader as the hypotenuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone remembers his geometry. Is that geometry or is that algebra or something? Dude, I will say one thing about drop shots. We're talking about drop shot. Forward facing sonar has completely changed how I drop shot fish. Like I do not fish vertical anymore. Like, you know, like in the old days, it was always 2D. I had 2D on the trolling motor. You're looking at stuff, you're dropping. Like it's almost always vertical fishing.
Yeah.
I'm always casting out at stuff now on drop shotting. And I'm very rarely fishing anything directly under the boat. Whereas the old days, that's all you did with drop shots.
Mm-hmm.
Right down on a fish's head, you're like, okay, they're down there. And now it's like, so now I like a longer drop shot rod because I'm pitching it out and like want to hit targets. So I don't even use I used to use like a 610. Now I'm using like a 7.2 drop shot rod all the time. I like that little extra length to kind of like make a little lob casts out.
Yeah, I use the 7.6 still on that. I don't know why. I just like the longer rods for some reason.
I would love to see data, Rich, on drop shot rod sales and if longer drop shot rods are now selling better than like the old 610s that everyone always used. I would venture a guess people are that's a trend now.
Yeah, I would think so.
Drop shot is my favorite the drop shot's a great forward facing sonar bait. I think it's kind of overshadowed by jig and minnows, but yeah, drop shot's awesome for forward facing sonar. But it's not the greatest for when the fish are not on the bottom. So when they're like higher in the column or in the middle of the column, drop shot, you're kind of not hitting them where you want to.
Mm-hmm. Like right now, the fish are a little higher now. You know, now they're more suspended. So, you know, probably just crank it or throw it out and count to like 2 and then start winding it back.
So I also have noticed if you're forward facing sonar fishing with drop shots, having a bait that kicks and has a little action can draw fish the higher up in a column down to eat it. Because like I would throw like a flatworm or a wacky worm or something that doesn't like do much on a drop shot, and I'll see fish and like chasing bait around, and I'll flick it at them, and it'll just go right past them, and they won't even like react. But then I'll put on like a small Kitek or a Hazedong shad that kicks. You do the same thing, and then that action, like then they kind of turn and follow it. You know what I mean? Like I've kind of like if I'm forward facing sniping with a drop shot, I'm usually throwing something that's got like some kind of boot tail on it or just has some kind of wiggle now.
Have you seen a difference between if you see a school and then you throw in a straight tail worm and then you bring it back, does the whole school follow it, or is that only with
school of what?
Swim bait?
School of like largemouth?
Yeah, a school of smallmouth if you bring it back.
Yeah, I don't know, Rich. You could probably school of smallmouth are curious as hell. Like they'll follow kind of anything, really. Like yeah, if there's something that's swimming by them and one of them goes and looks, they all kind of like get interested. It's not hard to like get a school of smallmouth to look at something, in my opinion. They're not gonna bite. Like if they're not biting, they're not biting. But like you can draw their attention with like a lame bait, like a straight tail worm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting running around forward facing sonar in like open water lakes with smallies and walleyes because they push around bait all day long. Like if you can find bait schools where they're beating them up, and then you find those smallies or walleyes that are like pushing them around, then it's fun to like cycle through baits and see how you can like take their attention away from the school that they're feeding on. Because sometimes they're so locked in on eating the bait fish or whatever that they just like you could hit them on the head with a bait. They don't care. They're just Yeah, I'd say mix it up out. Just nose hook a paddle tail, like a Hazedong or like one of the smaller Kiteks, like there's a 2 something Kitek or like a 3.2, I think they have. Something sub 4 inch.
Mm-hmm. Like a 3.8, 3.8.
Ooh, this is a good Garrett. This is a good question. Yeah, Rich, tell us how you like the Phoenix.
Yeah, before that, I just mentioned I did throw up the new November code for Omnia down on the screen down there for people that haven't seen it. The Phoenix 721 to the Camus, they are very different boats.
How so?
I mean the Camus has a wider, deeper feel, more I don't know, less sporty. Like the 721 is sportier. like quicker, more nimble, kind of. And it like
You think is
like
the
they both
hull?
have
Is
good
it because
rides. Like the Camus like absorbs the waves with like the center gas tank and the wide that like pushes waves to the side, and the 721 like cuts through them. So it's a different experience, but they both provide a good experience, but it's different, if that makes sense.
do you like one or the other better, or are they just both good?
I mean, I think the 721 is more fun to drive. It's a little more responsive. Feels like it.
Does the Phoenix, the 721, does it cut through the bigger waves different than the Camus?
Yeah, like the Camus absorbs the waves, and the 721 like cuts through them.
So
Probably
what about
easier to get up on top of the waves and run them in the
Yeah.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the 720. I'm still like figuring it out. Like there's like the cooler is way better. The trailer's nicer.
on
I
the
do
Phoenix?
miss like having the padded front deck on everything, where I only have it like on the where I stand in the Phoenix.
So here's a question: fit and finish. Like, which boat do you think is like better? Like, just on the little things here and there, like overall, like build quality wise. They both really good.
Both seemed like they were pretty good. I know some people said they had issues with their Camus. Mine was really solid. The other thing, like the trailer and the cooler, were my biggest complaints about the Camus, and both of those are much better on the Phoenix thus far.
The storage is the same?
They're similar.
It seems like most of all the bass boats now are kind of about the same storage wise. Like no one's really that different than everybody now. It seems like I think the template on how to organize boat storage has pretty much been cracked.
And the new 721 went to a more conventional, whereas the old 721 had 2 compartments. So,
in the middle,
like instead of like one big huge compartment, the old 720 had 2 compartments.
Yeah, I had one that went this way.
I did like the ability to be able to put rods in my center storage, which the Phoenix doesn't do, but the Phoenix probably has even a bigger center storage.
How about the live well?
I missed my little bait shelf. Like I had a little place where like baits would just sit, like a bait pile on the Camus, which I kind of miss.
And the live wells were the same?
Yeah, no issues with the live wells either way. So the Phoenixes, they don't put the remote drain plug in because they see that as a eventual failure point to have a remote drain plug. So you still got to crawl under your boat and like twist it in. Whereas like I really got used to just having like a switch right in the splash well, which was.
You could have one of those installed. Like you could put an electric plug in if you wanted.
Yeah, but
Brian says bait cemetery. That's funny. The bait graveyard.
Well, I say the trolling motor setup, isn't it on a different angle?
I don't notice it much. I will say the Quest is unbelievable compared to the Ultrex, but
I know my Ultrex is like still kicking. I beat the crap out of it. I'm kind of secretly hoping it dies or has an issue so I can have a reason to upgrade to the Quest, but I'm gonna run my Ultrex into the ground.
Yeah, I've rebuilt mine at least 4 times already from top to bottom. I still think it's still working.
They're hard to kill. Minn Kota makes a Minn Kota. That should be Minn Kota's tagline. Minn Kota trolling motors hard to kill. Good luck.
Yeah. My Minn Kota is like probably 8-9 years old, and it was still under warranty. One of the parts for it, and they sent it.
Nice. Yeah, I've been on some boats and gotten to pilot a Quest, and it is bougie. It is nice. I was like, man, this Quest, it's got power, it's quiet, it really is snappy. Like the new piston or whatever to lift it up is like, woo, it's like simple.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they made a lot of improvements on the Quest. That's a much more it's like a regular Ultrex on steroids.
Oh, wow.
Well, they had to make it more. They had to make it more robust because of all the extra shit people are putting on their trolling motors.
Oh,
like
yeah.
when the original Ultrex was designed, no one had the tridents with like all the extra weight on the shafts and on the system. So like everyone's lifting, these got your 360 and then you got your forward facing and you got all the brackets and like it just added so much weight and it made the Ultrexes wear down that much faster because they weren't really spec'd for that. So they had to overbuild the Quest.
The lift with a 360 and
oh yeah, it's freaking dude. Like yeah, if you were handy, like physically disabled or you had any kind of like ailment, like I don't know, whatever. There's a lot of people that probably couldn't pull those up, like physically.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah.
Rich, did you get the same outboard on your engine on the boat on either boat?
Got a Yamaha show now.
Oh, you do? How did that? What's the difference of that?
It's definitely got the low end and acceleration. It's quieter. Doesn't sound as cool when you start it. But yeah, it's been good.
It doesn't do the cough.
No.
You just turn the key.
You can hear every Mercury on the lake. You can hear start up now. Like doesn't matter where you are on the lake. You know when a Merc starts up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a smoker getting up off the couch.
Yeah, I gotta do mine. I gotta repower mine, and I got 2 estimates already this year, and the prices weren't very much different. It's just
what's a ballpark to repower now? Is it over 20 grand these days?
Parts and labor was like 23 for either one of them. I think the Yamaha was a little more money because you can't use the same control box. They got to change that. If I get a Mercury, I can use the same control box, but I've already rewired this control box, so I want a new one anyway. So I put that in the price.
So 20, yeah. So you're over 20 grand for a repower for 250.
225 on this one. This one's rated for 225.
Gotcha.
God, between the 225 and 250 is negligible.
Yeah,
like it's not much difference.
Right.
No, there's not much difference in the displacement at all in the piston rings or nothing like that.
So since we're talking costs, Rich, what was the price difference between the Phoenix and the Camus? Are they comparable, or is one more expensive than the other? Like I don't know where the boat brands all kind of like rank in prices nowadays. Like who's more bougie?
The Phoenix 721 is comes a little more stripped down, less frills on it. Like the Camus comes with more stuff,
more options,
like the fully padded front deck and like the smart gauge and
like the
panels versus the flip switch. I mean, like so there's some things that the Camus comes with, whether you value those or not. Camus I think starts a little more premium than a 721. Now I don't know, like when you get into like the 920 elites and 920 like the PHXs and some of the other stuff, but their 721 intentionally comes a little more stripped down.
So the Phoenix is cheaper, is what you're saying.
What's that?
Like the MSRP on the Phoenix is cheaper, is what you're saying.
721 I think was a little less than the CX20.
Okay, but
they're all expensive.
Yeah, they're all north of 70, right? Like it's crazy. Yeah, I would love to get a new boat. I would love extra space, but I don't want a payment, and I'm not cleaning out my savings account to buy a boat.
You just sell your drawer of jerk baits and you can probably buy a boat.
I need to go on Whatnot and do a jerk bait sale. That'll be I'll have to use one of your Whatnot referrals, and I got to do that.
Whatnot referral is pretty good. Like we each get like at least $100, I think.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I got a stupid amount of like hard baits that I'm not gonna use, that I should just throw in Whatnot.
Yeah, we're collectors more, if anything.
Facts.
I think all the trolling motors are pretty good, to be honest.
I will say that I think the one that's impressed me the least is the Lowrance. The Ghosts are I don't like the Ghosts.
The Ghost, after probably 20 hours on it, they get real crackly. I can hear them like across the lake.
Well, the So the new revised Ghost makes a lot of fixes to everything people complained about with the original Ghost. So the new Ghost is like could be a considerable like upgrade. But yeah, the Ghost
I
is
hear
kind
much
of,
complaints about the power pole move, but they're also the most expensive.
I don't know anybody that has one, and I've never touched one. So
They look so weird. They look like a little pinhead. And I
they
don't like
do.
the
They do have a
aesthetics of
different.
it.
But yeah, the problem. Okay, so the Lowrance people who bought the Lowrance Ghost originally before forward-facing sonar, totally fine. Once they put forward-facing sonar units on their boat, they suddenly don't really like their Ghost. Do you know why, Rich?
Well, the head doesn't point, and you don't get the feedback to like know where you're.
Yeah, their little
Doesn't
stupid
move.
arrow on the top sticks, and people have to like lube them, do shit to them to hack them to like get them to actually. So when you hit your foot, the arrow is not in real time. Like it kind of catches up. There's a little bit of a delay. It's like a
Almost
little.
anybody that's got a Lowrance now has a little yellow stick on the front of it as a
That doesn't
pointer.
even help that much. That's even harder because now you're looking for a little yellow stick in front of your boat. You're like, but anyway, the indicator arrow was not a great design. However, I don't know if you know this, but they're selling the arrow upgrade mode, like the upgraded arrow in the new version of the Ghost is backwards compatible with the old Ghost, and they're selling that as a kit. I think it's $150. So if you have the old Ghost and you don't like it, how slow it is and sticking all the time, they have a kit you can buy, and you have to take the head apart, swap out a bunch of shit, put it back together. There's a video. Russell Marine posted a video on how to upgrade it like in the last week or two, and they're selling the kits. So if you're a Ghost person and that arrow drives you up a wall, you can upgrade it in your garage for like $150. Fun fact. What are those Jordans for? I don't have any like high dollar ones. They're worth whatever, and I wear them all, so they're worth like nothing because I don't keep them like dead stock and pristine and like flip them. I wear them. But yeah, I don't know the Ghost. Yeah, Minn Kota seems to make the GOAT trolling motor. I mean, I don't. It's like
For the price point, yeah, I think Minn Kota.
The other thing is parts. They're easy. Everybody can fix them. Get parts all over the place, right? Like, why not buy the Honda Civic of trolling motors that everybody can repair and fix, and like parts are not that hard to get.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep spare parts with me when I travel. Keep them in a box. I got an extra shaft. I got extra housing. I had quite a few things just in case. But it's always good just in case somebody else needs it too.
Yeah.
That fishing a tournament, you can sell it to them for double, and then make your money back for the tournament.
Keep a couple extra props in the truck, and then when someone breaks one, you can be like, I got one in the back, $50.
Yeah, and they don't know how to fix it. I can fix it, but I'll charge you to fix it.
Rich, that's what someone should do. Is you should come up with a kit of like what are things you could have in your truck that fishermen will overpay for at the boat ramp on a tournament. Like you could have, that'd be a fun like thought experiment. What are things that like? I would have a bag of Sakamata shads. And I'd be like, hey, you want some? Oh, that would be $50 a bag.
I know guys that bought HellaBass.
Megabass jerk baits, Sakamata shads, a couple of trolling motor props would probably be a good one because a lot of people don't have a spare.
You can get trolling motor props though at like Walmart. I feel like at Walmart and Fleet Farm and a lot of places carry those.
Not if you have anything but a Minn Kota. You could have power pole ones, or I don't know. I'm just thinking like there's got to be a
Even if Power Pole came out with a metal prop,
that was at ICAST.
$500 or $700 or something like that.
It's stainless steel, so stainless steel props are freaking expensive. And yeah, look that up. How much were those? Those were $100,
like $700 or something like that.
Yeah. So. It comes with a hazard sticker on there, just so you don't stick your hands in it.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that prop is not like, was that for the salt world, like mostly, or was that
a power pole move?
I know, but
imagine like wouldn't that thing just eat cotter pins like it's its job.
I wouldn't want to be in the receiving end of that thing spinning.
Yeah,
like, you're gonna like
that's a warning label.
That's a lawnmower at a certain point, right? Like that's Like,
Yeah.
can you imagine someone you accidentally like rake over someone's foot or something? That thing,
Yeah, or you're trying to pull the weeds off the prop and then you're
Yeah.
spinning.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, you could. You got to assume they're making them sharp, right? Like those blades got to have an edge to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're only
What is
550.
550? Did they ever really release press about like what is the advantages of a stainless steel move prop? Like what are you getting out of it other than just raw durability? I guess, and it doesn't
Unmatched
grind down.
durability and relentless performance.
What?
Resist
How
nicks, minimizes wear from impact,
how does the stainless steel
speeds off
prop?
your line. Off your line. Built to handle whatever you throw at it and look good.
Okay, it's shiny. But you know what I'm saying? Like, what? How does it perform better than a plastic one? Is it?
I
Does
think
it?
it's the same thing. Like you don't have the flex, so you're going to maximize torque and propulsion.
So it could make it faster, is what you're saying. Like it could be, you could get a couple extra miles.
And I would assume like around wood and stuff like that, it's going to like not. But
right.
you hit rocks, you're going to.
Yeah, you're gonna.
I've hit mine on a lot of rocks, and it's fine. Like the plastic can hold up to rocks, okay.
Yeah, and then you could bend the prop in the stator.
Yeah, that's the thing is you whack
Performance is
the metal one on a rock or something hard, you're bending it, and then you got to take it to a prop person and have them repair it, and there's another couple $100.
Yeah, bring it to me. I'll put a new stator and
is
reseal it.
relentless.
Is this that sounds like it should be a marketing tagline? Relentless performance, powerful stainless prop.
It says it right in there. Durability and relentless performance.
Oh, that is in the copy. Okay. So I want to know how many of those they've sold. Like how many people in this economy have went out and bought $550 props for their trolling motor? I'm going to say not many. I bet you
It comes with a neoprene cover.
It's a lot heavier than plastic. Yeah, that's true. It would be way heavier. Oh man, here's the thing, Rich. Sometimes there's solutions to problems, right? This seems like a product that's not solving a problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, was there a problem with plastic props? Was someone sitting around going, "Man, if I only had a metal prop, I could do this."
You know, there's people that just have money that they need to spend, and this might be what they need.
Do you think it's an upgrade? Do you think dealerships are asking for this so they could slap it on and then, get a little extra margin as an accessory? Maybe that's where these are being sold, is the dealerships who just slap it on and then put it into the price.
I mean, like, does like chrome on your Harley make it drive better? No, but a lot of people put a lot of chrome on their Harley.
It's actually a pretty good analogy. You're like, yeah, it's for the Harley guys who have the big fancy or the big expensive leather saddlebags on their Ultra Glide.
I bought a new boat this year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you did. You stimulated the economy single-handedly.
I reinvested my $1,670 in tournament profit over expensive or over entry fees.
Okay, wait, I missed the beginning part of your.
You're gonna have to go back and watch it.
Wait, but you did turn a profit on your tournaments this year? Like you came out net
over entry fee?
Based on entry fees, not on travel, food, all the other stuff.
I didn't factor in the expenses yet.
It's best
just did entry fee and prizes.
But you're ahead of the game, though. You're on the positive side.
My lodging was less than $500 all year because I had so many places to stay. So
yeah, that's good. You got a network. Yeah. So in the end, if you didn't make a little, you probably broke even. If
it doesn't count any content creation, any of that kind of stuff. So
right. Hey, I call that a win. If you haven't sunk money into it, and I'd say breaking even or even a small profit is a big W in tournament fishing, right?
Rich, did you make a video yet for the Bass Nation Championship?
Nope, not yet.
Well, let's put a closer out to Power Pole that they need to send us some Power Pole moves with metal props so we can review them and then let the world know how good the metal prop is. So if they need our address, we'll give us our address and they can send us the prop. We need the motor though. We can't just get the props. They got to send us a whole move and then we'll test it.
Just send us the $5,000 trolling motor.
Yeah. I'll give it back at the end of the year.
The Classic Bass tournament on Mille Lacs is during the catch and release season in May.
That's going to be a fun one, huh?
Was that all catches? Like you counted all the fish?
Yeah, that's a every fish counts league.
Okay. We do the card tournament, same thing, but we keep the best 5 on the card.
Oh, so you just call out, but
Yeah.
you release them right away.
Yeah, we call them out, those numbers, you scratch it off, and then, but our area here, we don't have good cell service on some of these lakes, so we looked into the app. The
Mm.
was that the Chaos app? Is it what app? Is it?
I've never used it.
Yeah, one of those that we tried.
It's the real LiveWell app.
Yeah, that's it. But our cell service here is terrible.
So the Classic Bass tournament on Mille Lacs is in May. Does that mean it's spawn season? Are they going to be bedded?
Might be just the start of it. It's probably going to be more pre-spawn, I think. But
oh man, that's going to be a lot of people up shallow.
There's only 50 of us.
Oh, that's right. They trimmed the league down to 50, right? There'll be more people out fun fishing than you guys. You'll be way outnumbered.
Tournament's on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's the point.
You guys scoping in the middle of the lake though, in the pockets.
Oh yeah, there'll be a lot of people scoping.
Be some scoping, be some hoping.
There'll be some guys on the banks.
Is there any ice out catchway release tournaments in Minnesota next spring?
I don't think, for the most part, I don't think the DNR is handing those types of permits out.
You could go start one. But yeah, I would say that's probably a firm no.
Mine's going to be in Wisconsin, so it doesn't matter. So
I'm not going to have to. We'll be able to fish here for once.
But if you're doing the catch and release, do you really need a permit for that?
Yes, because it's a tournament.
Yeah, we're supposed to apply for tournaments, or I'm sorry, we're supposed to apply for permits for boat ramp use.
Basically, anything over like 25 participants or a certain amount of cash prize.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the DNR is supposed to issue you permits, and that's part of the logistics that like the league.
Classic Bass doesn't exactly fly under the radar. They put on a pretty big media spectacle.
Yeah.
So
there are derbies that just show up to the ramp and go.
Yeah, a lot of the small clubs and the leagues and stuff. I mean, like the Tuesday nighters, Wednesday night, they don't permit. But
it's not. Put it this way, it's not like enforced.
Yeah,
like a bunch of people show up and they're having a tournament, someone's gonna shoo them away.
The thing is, like in a bigger tournament like Classic Bass, if you had an incident and didn't have a permit, you'd be in a world of hurt.
Yeah, you'd be in pretty big trouble.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that. Yeah.
All right. I feel like chat has slowed down. Appreciate you guys coming on. I think we're gonna land this plane.
You're helping me avoid work. I sat down at my computer to like work on a work thing, and I saw you on YouTube. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna procrastinate a little bit.
I had to jump off for a little bit. I was having dinner with my son, and because I work late, and then as soon as I seen you, I checked it again, and then you had the link on there. I was like, oh, I'll get on.
So is your name JJ or is it Jim?
It's Jim, but AI or whatever thing went on there and did
okay.
That. I was like, what the heck is that?
well, nice to meet you, Jim.
Yeah, nice to meet you, bud. Hopefully we get to get out and do some fishing on. I'm trying to get to Mille Lacs, man. I'm trying to get out there.
It's crazy right now. The big fish everyone's getting better with their electronics out on that lake. So everyone's now finding like you used to catch a 6-pounder once in a while. And now it seems like on the regular, people are catching 6-pounders. It's just because people are getting so much better at scoping. Like they can find these big fish.
Yeah, I mean,
if you want a 30-pound bag of smallmouth, it's fairly doable on Mille Lacs. It's not a unicorn anymore. It's not like, oh, I got a 30-pound bag once in 8 years. Now it's like, oh, someone got a 30-pound bag on Tuesday, and someone got one on Thursday, and someone got one on Saturday. Like it's.
Yeah. Oh, you're seeing the weights go up though, but with scope though.
I think in general, it's a combination. I think electronics, anglers, baits getting better, but I also think the fishing is on the rise right now on Mille Lacs.
Yeah, you're right. It's all, everything's going well. Like whatever's going on with that lake is trending in the right direction. The bags are getting bigger. People are catching like more kickers now than they seem to have ever been catching them.
Yeah.
Dude, Rich, I haven't heard of this many sevens in one season. Like, there's been multiple sevens this fall, and it used to be like 1 or 2 sevens would get publicly talked about a year, and now it's like sevens are showing up on the semi-regular.
Well, that's a good thing to have, because then that means you got bait, you got the good forage, and
I will say though, Jim,
growing.
if you do come up to Mille Lacs, make sure you stay for a while. Like, don't just come up for 1 day or 2 day, because if the wind or the weather does not cooperate, it can make your whole trip like kind of a dud. So try to stay for like a week. Do you know what I mean? Like, have multiple days to cover the weather.
Yeah.
You know, and plus have multiple days to like plan on having some days where your teeth are going to get kicked in. And you're not gonna you're gonna have a struggle, because
for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, and if you can afford it, get a guide, because the guides will just cut and paste you right to where the schools are and where the fish are biting.
Yeah, I'll call up Josh Douglas and he'll get me.
Yeah, but I mean, Josh is great, but there's there's a dozen guides out there now that are like legit. But yeah, you can hit up Dougie. He'll hook you up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right. Thanks, Brian. We'll keep in touch. We'll get something scheduled here end of the month.
Let's do the mystery box. Peace out.
All right. All right. Thanks for everybody that joined tonight. If you came in late, catch the replay, YouTube, MP3. If you guys have never rated in your favorite podcast app, I'd enjoy that. But otherwise, there's always here to help you guys catch more big bass and suck less. Be good, everyone.